I stood there, staring at my newly bandaged arm. My mom was a good medic. Another thing, I was not. Why had she been so mad? Did she think I was even more pathetic now? Simply because what I thought was fun, she didn't? Probably. I'm still feeling like exploring more. But I couldn't resist my mom while she was still here. So I sat down, pulled up my supplies, and did my homework. It only took maybe an hour to do. Work itself is pretty easy. Just figure out the pattern, say for math and physics, then use that pattern in the different questions they throw at you. And English is just write as much as you can about this book, and try to tell them what the whole understanding of the meaning is, and how you understand the meaning, and all that, which kind of feels made up usually, but whatever. I can't go against the teacher's wishes, can I? I kind of enjoy doing the work, and some kids call me a nerd for doing the work so easily. I wish they wouldn't make fun of me like that. I never go up to speak in front of the class because every time I do, a large group of those kids take notes on how dumb I look or how well I grasp the concept, as if it's a bad idea to do so. As if it's a bad idea to actually pay attention. Why do they do that? Can't they just accept me for who I am and, move on? Maybe learn something from what I have learned to later help themselves in real life? I guess nope. Instead, they have to make fun of me, because that is the popular thing to do. I hate it. I hate it. After my work was done, I slumped into my room and watched YouTube for the remaining hours. Before, I would have to feed and walk Flossie, but I ruined that, so no more. My parents don't want another dog, perhaps because I'm too stupid to own one. Well, YouTube is fun, except when it isn't. I used to enjoy certain video games, like Sonic the Hedgehog or Minecraft. I'd always thought they were good fun, and allowed me to experience another world that was more wacky and cool than this one. And once I learned about YouTube, I immediately rushed to find what others thought of my favorite games. It turns out most people hate those games. They criticize anyone who finds them entertaining. I guess even in games, I can't be happy anymore. Later on, my dad arrived. My mom told him about my arm. "You cannot do these kinds of things, Zach. You need to be a smarter man," he had told me. I didn't say anything, just avoided his face and looked at my bed. I had also upset my dad now, again. I decided to go to bed earlier. That normally happens every week, this kind of stuff. Shouldn't be a surprise. I get someone mad and I want to escape into the dream world. So I try to sleep faster by going to bed sooner. I did have a dream this time. I was standing on the knife holder in the kitchen. I looked down to see my whole body was red, like a small blood vessel. I was tiny. In front of me, a blurry figure picked up the knife that was sitting behind me. I quickly grabbed hold as I was lifted into the air. The sharp edge didn't hurt either, just like before. The knife was lowered onto the person's arm. It made a familiar split in their skin. I dropped into it and was whisked away with other blood cells. I zoomed around the human anatomy, down the arm and through the heart. When I passed through the heart, I felt the same feeling of joy, is how I can put it, except this time it was multiplied. I smiled and I yelled in delight. I wasn't exactly sure what I was so happy about. I guess just the fact that all this was here, for me, not being hurtful. Just the blood moving the way it does, with nothing bad happening. It was enough to make me pleased. I zoomed down the legs and up into the head. This is so confusing, yet so exhilarating at the same time. Maybe it makes sense, and maybe it doesn't, but I guess that doesn't matter to me. I saw the brain, and the eyes, and the ear canals, all working silently, letting me be me. I could move on and not get called on. It was the best thing I'd ever experienced. Well, unfortunately, it ended. I woke up in the morning. There was an hour before school began. I hesitantly got up, got into my new clothes, and went to brush my teeth. After breakfast, my dad drove me to school. "Have a good day, and no cutting," he said, and then drove away. I slinked into first period. Gym wasn't that exciting. We mostly just ran and did not much else, per the usual. Today we met up on the field. No one sat next to me, of course. The coach came up in front of us. "Alright, kiddies. Today y'all will be doing a mile. Remember, these do count for your grades, so get to it," he instructed. All the kids got up complaining and began to run. I didn't feel like running, so I just fast walked instead, letting all the other kids get way ahead of me. After about 2 laps, the coach called my name. "Zach, kid, what are you doing? You're here to run, get some exercise. Quit being lazy and move," he instructed me. "Sorry, sir, I will," I replied quickly. You almost never hit the lap goal. Maybe 12 instead of 10 will help get your gears moving. Go. Wait, what? 12? Why? I asked. Because you're still standing here, not running. Come on, get going, kid. I wanted to argue that wasn't fair, but I knew that, well, arguing would only get me into more trouble than I was already in. So I just sulked off down the field, pushing myself harder to meet the goal. And I didn't make it. What did you think I was gonna do? There wasn't enough time. I'd only completed my 9th lap when Mr. Hotham sounded the bell. "Alright, everyone. Give me your times, laps, and roll call number to me before we go to the locker room. Alright?" The rest of the class ran up, breathing heavily and sweating. I was also tired, but not as much as them. They put in the actual work. I don't get to be tired. When I came up to give my numbers, Mr. Hotham scowled at me. "Zach, only 9? Oh, God. You need to push yourself more, kid. Only by pushing through will you be successful." I kept my gaze on the wall. "Sorry, wasn't sure how fast I was going," I told him. "The school walls are just as bland as I am." I've heard that too many times from you. Just, "Oh, I'm not fast enough" stuff. It's such bull, Zach, and you know it. You need to try harder. Giving up is what losers do. You want to be like that? A loser? Come on, we both know the answer. Just keep trying and you can do it. I noticed my eyes felt heavy. Loser? I was just tired today. "Okay, sir. I'm sorry." I went up to get changed. As I headed for second period, I couldn't shake the words of what my coach had said. Loser. I was a loser. Yeah, of course. Only someone like me would give up so easily. None of the other kids gave up. Even the ones who were weaker than me physically were able to make it because they kept on trying, pushing themselves more and more until they reached their goal. I've tried that so many times, but every time there are too many things holding me back, things that hurt me and keep hurting me. It doesn't become worth it at that point. It's too bad I'm still forced to come to school and be pelted with mental rocks. I looked around my school as I ascended the stairs to video production. I saw all the kids walking, talking, laughing with their friends. Maybe even a girlfriend or boyfriend or two. Isn't that an interesting idea? They didn't have the issues I did. They were happy. No one tried to hurt them. They could do what they wanted, not be in fear of negative results. I really longed to join them. So, video production. I took this class because I thought that maybe acting could be something I would be good at. Since, again, art, writing, and even technology, like making YouTube videos, never clicked for me. And at first I thought I was fine with acting. It seemed like I could act out a character well. But as soon as I rewatched the little movies my group had made, I knew that I wasn't fit for it. I looked stale and emotionless, and like not even as good as a robot. I just mumbled my lines like an awkward idiot. The members of my group commented on how much I could improve. They commented on how much I didn't have in terms of skill. Today, we are finishing editing our latest film. It's something about a cowboy who's lost in modern times, getting in trouble with the government. I played the part of a supporting role, that of a restaurant owner who shelters the cowboy during the movie. He dies at the end, which is fitting, I suppose. I came into the class and took my seat. We sat at the very back of the classroom. "Hello, guys. How's the film?" I asked. No one answered. Two of them were on the computer playing Call of Duty. Apparently that was illegal at school, but they got away with it somehow. "Dude, this sniper is so bad. I literally shot him right in the head and no damage. Jesus," said one kid. He was lighter-skinned, with brown hair and green eyes. He was wearing a bright orange t-shirt and blue jeans. Rescott, why would you use that one? It's actually garbage. The Y89, I think, is the one I'm using. Yeah, this one it's the best. Seriously. You have to listen to me for once, said the other. He had blonde hair, brown eyes, light skin. He was wearing a black jacket and red long pants. Ugh, that sniper? Man, Alan, you have terrible tastes in these games, Rescott said. Me? I'm not the one who just got pushed off the map. Oh! Alan forced Rescott's character off the side of a digital waterfall, or whatever, killing him. Dude! Oh my... God damn it. You're gonna pay for that, you know, Rescott said loudly. Oh, really? All you're gonna pay me for is that chocolate sandwich I got you yesterday, Alan told him. What? Okay, look. Whoever wins this next game gets to pay the other $5. That is a deal. And then they both went in to play hard, pressing fiercely on the computer keys. I shifted my gaze to our editor, Kevin. How is it? I asked him. He kept his gaze on the computer screen. Fine. Just putting the finishing touches on it. Next time we need different actors, honestly, he told me. Kevin was light-skinned, with black hair and brown eyes. He was wearing a purple t-shirt and black pants. Yeah, you're right. Perhaps, like, me or you, or something, could switch them out, switch roles, I don't know, I said mumbly. To my left, Quill was also watching the editing. He's the one producing the script and music for the group. If it weren't for him, the movies wouldn't be what they are. Quill was darker skinned, with green eyes, and a blue shirt and blue pants today. I don't know. Scott and Alan, you guys are going to be taking a backseat. I want to make this next movie fresh, Kevin told the gamers. I want to be more in control this time. Is it that? Are you sure? Or is it because Alan is just too bad at acting? Hey! My package! Scott teased as Alan took his supplies away from him in the game. They're barely even paying attention, as usual. Well, sure. Mixing it up is good. That way you can make the movie more interesting and give something new to the class who already knows the original actors. I agreed. Could I be a main actor? I asked softly. Sure. You could, I guess, Quell offered. Actually, I'm not sure yet. I have to see who is going to be the best fit for it, at least at first. Kevin responded. Oh, okay. At first. I slumped back into my seat. I guess I wasn't near the best, so they didn't want me. I barely could even speak up enough for them to hear my question. There wasn't much to do in this class, since if we're not making anything, there's not much else going on usually. So we were just sitting around waiting. Or at least I was. I didn't have music to write, or a video to edit, or a game to play with a friend. So I just sat there, watching more YouTube until the period ended. Once again, I didn't contribute anything. Math was okay. Just another round of me doing the work too quickly and waiting for the teacher to catch up. Fairly boring stuff. But then came Spanish. We were doing some notebook work for possessive verbs. I think I got most of it pretty easily. However, there was one question that confused me. The teacher was busy with another student, so I turned to my partner. Hey, Leisha, do you know the answer number 15? I asked her quietly. She glanced at me, and then turned back to her friend on the left side of her. Oh, or not. Okay, never mind. So I had to guess on what the translation would be. I still don't get why these people don't talk to me. What did I do that was so bad? Sure, I've messed up a lot, but still. Was it because it was me? Just the fact that Zach was speaking to them was enough to make them cringe? Probably. What else would it be? Anyway, English wasn't that bad. We were writing an in-class essay about the meaning, quote-unquote, of Animal Farm. The kids around me were complaining the whole time about it. Though for me, I didn't see the issue of doing so. I think that I know what the book says. Maybe my interpretation of it nowadays with more information is different, but it's hard to tell, especially with the meaning of literature. I'd say it always changes, though no one listens to me. Regardless, I followed the format her teacher wanted, and tried to explain the author's opinion about dystopian governments and all that. I was the first one to finish, so I turned in my essay. Mr. Genome raised an eyebrow. Wow, already? You reread it and everything? He asked. Yeah, I did. Okay, I hope it's got the true meaning in there. But normally it does, so I'll take it already. I handed him the paper and sat back down. Was it too early? Did he think by me finishing so quickly that I did it badly? Yeah, I most likely did. It's me who wrote it. Why can't I just use my head and slow down every once in a while? After the essay, we were given homework, which was to research this person named Homer and his books and write down some notes. Type of assignment I really hate. Anyway, then I headed for my last class, physics. Today we were simply studying for the upcoming test. Mr. Yeager handed out study packets and set us off to work. I breezed through it. I'd done half of them by the 30-minute mark. Whether that means I know them or I just got them all wrong, I'm too afraid to find out. The girl next to me, Jessica, was having some troubles with her work. Hey, you need help? I offered her. No, just I can't do this. She put her head on the table. I looked at her paper. She was on a problem asking about the difference between mechanical and electromagnetic waves. Oh, actually, I can help you with that, I said. Look, well, all you really need to do, I guess all I need to really know for this problem, is that mechanical waves travel through matter to propagate, like a sound wave that travels through the air molecules. And, electromagnetic waves use things like radio waves and magnetic fields to propagate. It's in the name, actually. Electromagnetic tells you that it goes through those kinds of electric fields, like a radio or a phone. Things that are electric, use electricity to run. And mechanical is like a machine, a mechanism. It's how all the parts need to move together and through one another to continue forward. At least that's just how I think of it. Seems to help me. Jessica moves her head back up and looks at the problem, thinking for a few moments. Yeah, I think that actually makes more sense now. She scribbled in the answer and continued on. I expected her to say some form of, well, thank you, since I was going out of my way to help her. But I guess she just took my help for granted, like always. I had to stop wanting to help people. I really wanted to, but my parents would constantly lecture me about why I needed to help myself to keep helping other people anyway. Once the final bell sounded, I walked back home again. It seemed that my parents couldn't pick me up. They were off from work, but they had to go shopping. That, or they just didn't want to see me for as long as they could put off for. I wouldn't be surprised. I walked along in the heat away from school, other kids maneuvering around me to reach their friends. Try as I may, I couldn't let go of what was said to me at school. Or, rather, what wasn't said to me. The PE coach telling me I had to try harder, that I was a loser if I didn't. My own group in video production telling me I wasn't good enough to be a main actor. Alicia not even giving me the chance to speak to her about my problem in Spanish, since the teacher was too busy. I didn't understand any of this. I didn't understand why these things had to happen to me every day. I used to have one friend who would actually acknowledge my existence, but that was back in elementary school. Her name was Katie. She would be the only one who would pay me any attention. We would hang out during recess all the time, actually. We'd eat our snacks together, and I would complain about my issues to her, and she would actually listen. If I told her about people who were being mean to me, she'd say something like, "Oh, Zach, just don't worry about those guys. I feel that they're just jealous. You're better than all of them, so no worries." That's the kind of thing she would tell me. And whether or not it was young ignorance, I never cared. She always made me feel better. And people say toddlers and young people in general just don't know what true pain is. And that may be true for some people. But the thing is, I always felt the pain others forced on me. But that was the thing about it. Katie was my anchor to the world. She let me go through elementary school being happy. If I had one thing to look forward to, it was seeing her at recess and lunch. Katie was always so confident and stayed happy. However, she was never in any of my classes, but I guess that didn't bother me. Just seeing her at least, or I guess at the most, depending on the day, just twice a day was better than none at all. Though, once I had graduated and was going to be transferred to middle school, I became worried. Katie had talked about her family having to move. I think she told me it's a few weeks before the graduation. It's hard to remember. But then, I won't get to see you again, I had told her. Are you gonna move far away? I don't know. I remember Katie's face when she said that. She seemed, for the first time, unsure. My mama told me we had to leave because of Daddy's work. Whatever that means. It requires that he moves a lot or something. So we gotta go with him. I remember I actually felt like crying. It wasn't because I was being made fun of or tormented by other kids who wanted to take advantage of me. It was just because I was afraid of losing the one thing that kept me happy. No, please don't leave, I begged her, pointless as it may have been to say anything against the fact that was going to happen. We can go into middle school together. You're a smart and brave girl. We can make it. You've always been a good friend, Zach. I don't want to leave you either, but I just don't know. Yet Katie still smiled at me. But it's whatever, right? You'll be fine, and so will I. Just like always. I stared at her. How can she be so confident when she was leaving forever? How could I ever be confident ever again? I still ask myself that question to this very day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.